Morning to you and welcome to our Monday morning edition of Good Morning Anambra. It's a new month and it's a very special month because it's my month. So I welcome you especially to June. My name is Sijama. Do stand by for press review. Okay, welcome again. Joining me this morning to look at what the papers are saying, Mr. Paulson Okeke, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Paulson.
Good morning, viewers.
And then I also have Barrister Chris Arukwe. He's also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning, our people.
Okay, and I also have you at home watching us. So at a very convenient time, you also join us to talk about the topics of the day. Okay, let's first of all begin from our website this morning where we have some news items trending. The first one says Anambra State Government, UNICEF, provide recreation facilities to Umuezanam. Yeah, and then Anglican priest urges Christians to remain firm in faith to overcome challenges. And finally, from our website this morning, Nobi Community launches security outfit. These and many more stories are the stories you'll find from our website this morning, Anambra Broadcasting Service. Okay, let's get started, gentlemen. Umuezanam, okay, that's one of our hinterlands community, and then UNICEF and the state government are providing recreation facilities there. How do you see that, person?
Yeah, it's a very good development because one, Umweze Anam, like we all know, it's a riverine community. So if you go there, you will see that they need such facility, no doubt, because they don't have any. And that makes it why their youth perhaps are not participating in recreational activities like sporting and other form of activities that could help in development of youth skills and in other areas. One is very important in the sense that if their youth takes advantage of these facilities provided for them, it could go a long way. It will engage them and remove them from certain misdemeanor. That's it. And in those recreation facilities, they should learn certain skills as well. In as much as it's recreation, it's football, it's entertainment, it's this, it's that. But still, there are some budding talents that could still be harnessed in these areas.
I know. Okay, Barrister Rupe, Anglican priest urges Christians to remain firm in faith to overcome challenges. At this point in time where Nigeria is facing a lot of challenges, security-wise, economic-wise, and a whole lot, is this just the Christians that need this advice now?
Well, I don't think that basically right to happiness, enjoyment of life is a lot of just the Christians. The plurality of us require some semblance of order, security of lives and property to thrive and aspire to full enjoyment of your life. It is a clarion call for everybody that when everything is falling apart, the only asset you have is your hope and faith. If we no longer have faith, will no longer have hope. The treasure is gone. And you can see that in Nigeria, most people have nothing they can say they want to look up to. The fuel scarcity is eroding family income levels, insecurity, kidnapping, and also such anxiety, school fees. Students are restive, things are costly, the market is throwing up prices, indexes that surprises everybody. You can hardly get to where you want to get to these days. And if you come out to the road, you find that the quality of road traffic on the roads are diminishing. So faith, particularly hope, is the last straw the common man holds on to. Without hope, or without faith in God or in such other worship, man is nothing.
Man is nothing without faith. Okay, so have faith that all will be well at last. Okay, I'm not a pastor, but if I preach, there must be tithes here and offering. Okay, Nobi Community launches security outfits. Yes, we saw that trending on the social media yesterday. Was it on Saturday? And somewhere, I saw it also, somebody posted it on Facebook line, and somebody commented. I saw one striking comment that said, "Non dia these are the criminals, are the kidnappers, and a whole lot of things." You know, I was shocked when I heard that. And then I started thinking, how do we how do we sift the wheat, the chaff from the wheat, to ensure that those people that we're employing or handing over security into are the people that we should trust that will secure us indeed?
Well, it's always things like that are what human beings are known for, skepticism. There's nothing you do that people don't come to doubt the credibility in doing it or your sincerity in doing it. You see, it's not always easy for people to bring themselves out to secure others. Therefore, in such venture, others should encourage those people. After all, there are so many people moving around, and they did not volunteer themselves to secure others. Therefore, if 1 or 2, 3, 4, and so on could volunteer themselves, let us secure others, that cynicism shouldn't be there on the Akanaya. Because it might be that person is no Akanaya, or Buya but onye a na-emezi n'ọnya nwa ka n'ọnya nwa bụ ezigbo mmadụ n'ọnya ka ezigbo mmadụ ọ bụla ya bụ the danger enwelo. There are many snakes going around, green snakes in the green grasses. You think they are just human beings, but you don't know that they are devil incarnate, going around, moving like human beings like you and I, and they are the danger in the society. Therefore, Nobi community should be commended for coming together to bring out, to put up vigilante group. Other communities should do so, because security is all of us, it's our responsibility. It's not for the government alone, according to such erroneous impression that have been created here. Communities, individuals, we all should be conscious of our environment. We should know what we're doing in an environment so that whenever we see a stranger or we see anybody straying around, we become conscious and we see who to call. We have PGs in communities, we have traditional rulers in communities, and so on.
Okay.
So that is it.
All right, thank you. You might want to come in there.
What I want to say is that one bad apple spoils the bunch, and such anxiety is not unfounded. We all live in our different communities. And you find out that most time, these members of the vigilante groups are not the best of the crop. Sometimes they connive with, give veritable information to outsiders who are kidnappers. And there should be proper profiling. It is not about volunteer. You volunteer that and you're taken. The system should be above board. Those who are being enrolled should be profiled by police force to show that they do not have external influences. Because immediately there's a leak, the vigilante is not a paramilitary. The training is limited, and you know that these kidnappers and their dastardly terrorists easily overpower them in many communities. So one is not just to carry pump action around, wear black and terrorize, try to instill confidence in our people. They should also be able to be trained and equipped to the level that they can adequately combat the terrorists.
External aggression.
Yes, external aggression. And then to make sure that they are well profiled in such that security, they are subjected to personal security investigations to know their own personal traits before recruitment.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's now venture into the papers as we choose our vigilante boys. Let's just be careful. That is the bottom line, to ensure that you don't turn to another thing, because very soon you see them, the people using them, and a whole lot of things, you understand?
It's done. We know that.
All right, Sun newspaper is our first paper this morning, as we look at the pages of the newspapers to find out exactly what is trending. As you very much know that we look at the front page of the paper, and then you go to your newspaper stand, pick anyone that appeals to you and get details. Okay. Yeah, the first story we're going to take here is from, beside the main template of the song, where they say NAS leadership, Ohanaeze Ndigbo tax Southeast lawmakers to vote with discretion. With a writer there, group mobilizes support for Carlo. Okay. And then up here, that's below the main template, 10 Senate, Southeast deserves the Senate presidency. Okay, but the banner headline here says, fuel subsidy, NLC boycotts talks with federal government, insists on Wednesday strike. With some riders there, their absence surprising, but differences will be resolved soon. This is coming from Aleke. TUC demands increase in minimum wage, tax holidays, and others. And then talks to continue Tuesday, federal government to raise tripartite committee. Other stories coming from this paper: anxiety in military over expected appointment of new service chiefs as 300 generals, admirals, AVM risks retirement. This is where I always fall out with a security outfit. Okay, fuel subsidy, Ipman Health federal government over approval for private importers, says prices will crash. That's if private people start importing fuel. But somewhere I saw where they are demanding the same rate, the same, exchange rate with the NNPC, so that it will be easy for them to import. Sit at home, Bishops Ona, Chukwuma, Enugu town unions back Governor Mba. United Nigerian Airlines on force plan to enlarge fleet. And then NDLE destroyed 3 tons of skunk in Edo forest, seizes 76.9 kg loud from Canada. Okay, that's the name of drugs, skunks. Okay, and then loud. Okay, let's look at another paper. Punch newspaper is the next. Subsidy. NLC shuns federal government's electricity workers back strike. Okay, with some riders, NLC forced negotiation team, and then Lagos, Nasarawa, more state chapters join strike. TUC demands salary increase, fuel importers seek equal access to forests. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, that's all we're taking from Punch. Let's move over to This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper on top of the name templates, NNPC subsidy removal to reduce petrol consumption by 30%. As you keep a lot of people off-road. All right. The banner headline here say NLC divided as North, Southwest chapters may shun plan strike. Eba can still be do. Other stories, Zamfara governor gives Matawele 5-day ultimatum to return missing bulletproof cars. Hey, fireworks. APC accuses union of working for Labour Party, and that's the story coming under NLC. APC accuses union for working for Labour Party, and then Atiku knocks Tinubu, says PDP would have provided palliatives first. That's before removing oil subsidy. Okay, Guardian newspaper before we start talking. Auto gas stores as NNPC marketers bicker over 500 billion debt, and then prorated fuel costs. Other stories coming from there. NLC boycott meeting as federal government UC seek options out of Wednesday strike. Why Tinubu has not appointed a spokesperson. These are the stories making the round here. Okay, gentlemen, let's start talking. Beginning from the first paper this morning, let's look at Ohanese's input, where Ohanese Ndibo tasked Southeast lawmakers to vote with discretion. Group mobilizes support for Carlo. So what do you think is going to be the outcome of this taxing if eventually it doesn't go as they expected? I'm starting with you, Arukwe, sorry.
Yeah, in this situation, the incoming houses of representative and the Senate ought to elect their own principal officers out of their own free will and volition. The issue of the executive having a hand who becomes the Senate president is a way of gagging the Senate, giving them a prefect who might not be the general choice of the people. The Senate president is like a prefect over a class. If he's not popular, he will not command authority, he will not command respect. And if he's an appointee or the choice of the executive, oversight would be whittled down.
Like we saw in the night assembly.
Yes, just a repeat of paper tiger thing like that. Whatever that is brought to the Senate goes as selling. 800 million request, $800 million request is approved in the same day. There's no scrutiny, there's no financial appropriation, no discipline, financial discipline. If we have that, we are already gone astray. I believe strongly that Ohanese directing their people to vote according to their individual conscience is a way to go.
Okay, since we don't want executive to interfere in the leadership, choosing the leaders of the National Assembly, what about social cultural organizations like the Ohanese and other social cultural? Do they have the right to interfere? Wouldn't they just allow them to?
No, the interference there's no interference there. They are encouraging them, individual persons, to vote according to your conscience. Okay. They are not saying vote Carlo. They are not saying vote Okoye.
But there's another story under that one that says Southeast deserves Senate presidency.
Yeah, in the principle of federal character, in the principle of zoning, to make Nigeria look like a nation state where every part of the country should look like any other part of the country. It is deserving that Southeast, having not gotten the president of the nation, having not gotten and other arms of the governance, that this part of our governance structure or institution should come naturally to a state that has been, to a zone, a geopolitical zone that has been deprived and marginalized over the years.
Okay.
You see, some of these things are what plays up when there is marginalization. What that particular story is saying is all-inclusiveness. Just like he said, federal character. The West has taken the presidency, the Northeast has taken the vice presidency, then the head of the legislature should ordinarily come to the Southeast. That is inclusiveness in governance. It's always good that all components of a nation are gathered together to form government so that no side will say we are not part of it or we are excluded and so on. So if the current APC government will still remember what is called all-inclusiveness in governance, they should just easily allow the Southeast to
Okay,
produce.
for want of time, gentlemen, let's move on. Let's talk about this fuel subsidy and the role of the NLC as they gear up for the strike. NLC boycott talks with federal government insists on Wednesday strike. And we'll try to find out why they're boycotting the strike, the talks. Somewhere I read in the Twitter this morning that they said, why should we even remove the subsidy without consulting us? And then why consult us now that we have removed it? So let us bring in our own subsidy, and which is increase this or return to status quo. Okay, I'm starting with you, Paulson. Return to status quo, then call us for negotiation.
Yeah, honestly,
let's determine what it's
I
going to
support
be.
the federal government to withdraw our subsidy. As one thing, I couldn't be double speaking because all along I've been saying, let us remove subsidy. Because of the pain payment of subsidy has inflicted on Nigerians. Honestly speaking, subsidy is a scam. Nigerians have known it. Nigerians have unmasked it. And they now see that what we are doing here is enriching few Nigerians at the expense of the rest of us. You see, Nigerian fuel, they say if you go up to Sudan, you see Nigerian fuel. If you go across the West Coast, you see Nigerian fuel. And the citizens are meant to pay for government's inefficiency. Are the customs not there? Yet, the former Director General of Custom, or the head of Custom, his name with Muhammadu Buhari, was one soldier that was highly reputed as to stand against corruption. But yet, our tankers are crossing the country every day and the custom men are there. So what are we saying? Remove the subsidy. The struggle for NLC, they should do that because that is what they are elected to do. The government should dialogue with them fully. The government should put up palliative measures to cushion the effect because the effect is so spiral. It's a vicious circle. Everything we do revolves around petroleum. So because it is a vicious circle, from one sector to another, it touches. If not transportation, Nigerians are suffering, we know. But let us endure for a while and mandate the federal government to put up palliative measures. The wages of the workers should be increased, not 30,000 naira. But they should increase. Somebody suggested some time ago 100,000 naira for minimum wage. They should pay it because it is not so much.
Okay.
As petroleum has increased, so house rent, prices of food, and every other thing will increase. And this worker you are giving 30,000 naira, I give this 30,000 naira, how far can it drive him? Okay. Honestly speaking, federal government should wake up.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's look at another aspect of this fuel subsidy. Like IPMA Health, federal government over approval for private importers says prices will crash. Okay, so if this is encouraged, do you think that NLC will still be struggling for a return to status quo?
I believe that, I don't believe that the subsidy is also a scam. I don't believe that there's any need to remove the subsidy. I differ with a lot of people who say that subsidy is not necessary and all that. I've read up a few things. All over the world, immediately there's some upheavals in the system, UK and America, they adjust their pump prices to make sure that it doesn't drive the people below the poverty line. So subsidy is operated in all disciplined nations of the world in one way or in one form. What is happening in Nigeria is that this subsidy is not reaching the people. Some people have garnered it and use it to to defraud the nation. So the system is not being operated properly. The problem is not the subsidy, it is the operation of the subsidy. Somebody had asked the question, who had been paid this subsidy? Who have been receiving this payment?
Among the marketers.
Yes. Are the marketers paid directly? You see, the scam there is, there's an American who did a survey of what the Nigerian petroleum industry, and said in the high seas there, some people dress up as full naval officers and big ocean liners are moving petroleum products out of the country. So the scam is actually the petroleum industry.
Organized crime.
Is unregulated, is undisciplined, is fraught with all sorts of extreme corruption. The problem is not subsidy. The problem is the amount of unregulated amount of petroleum product that leave this country illegally.
My brother, you seem to be talking from the two sides.
No, I'm not talking from the two sides. I'm saying I do not believe that Nigeria cannot sustain a system of subsidy because we have a comparative economic advantage. This product is in this country. You cannot have a product that is available in your country and you buy it from another country and believe that the product will be cheap. The product is a global product. If you don't refine it in your own country, it will never be cheap.
Okay. All right, let's move on, gentlemen. Anxiety in military over expected appointments of new service chiefs. And then the one that really giving me concern is 300 generals, admirals, AVM, risk retirement. This has always been the trend in Nigeria when there's a new government in place. You go and pick a junior officer and then retire experienced generals. And then we keep complaining that we're having security issues. How do we handle this?
You see, that is the problem of the third world. That is the problem of a country where competence and merits are not considered in certain appointments. That is the problem of a country where my brother is better than your brother, therefore should get the best. You see, in Nigeria, we spend money to train these military generals. But it's always heart-rending that at the change of any government, we go and bring in a junior officer who has not garnered as much experience as the generals. But because he's from my area, you believe you can trust him better than others. And that's all why they do all this rubbish. Because they want to bring their brother to secure them.
And not to secure Nigeria.
And not to secure Nigeria. So whatever that happens, it doesn't concern them. Now, all this money is spent on training these high cadre officers in the military will be retired. They go into the streets and be doing nothing. Okay. It's bad.
Very bad indeed.
It's very, very bad. Because they don't consider Nigeria in making these appointments. They consider their government and they consider themselves. After all, there's no way you can use a brigadier general. Today you make him a major general. Next time you make him a general just because you want to favor him in appointment. The same way it is in the police. So our government should begin to do things the right way others do it. For us to feel that the right things are done.
Okay. Nobody has said anything about the strike that NLC is gearing up for. So most of the papers here are talking about that, and there are so many angles to it. This at the Punch newspaper, they say the NLC transfer government meeting, electricity workers back strike. And when they do, you know what we are cut off for. And then another place said that there's this division, NLC divided as North, Southwest chapters may shun planned strike. You see, divide and rule that they use for the ASU, use for the medical doctors is coming into NLC again. Let's talk about that.
Yes, you know, there's desperation. The nation is divided along its ethnic lines and biases. The president who has been sworn in is from the southwest, and his people think that it is our turn. They are not looking at the matter from a pan-Nigerian perspective. They kind of think this is our own time to chop. But the issue on ground is a national issue, an issue for survival of the poor masses. Indeed, you don't even talk about the poor masses anymore. Everybody has gone into that category. The people who are below poverty line in this nation is increasing by the seconds. Anybody who you see now with a car, you must doff your hat for the person. It's not easy now to fuel your vehicles and all that. So when they are not what they are trying to do is to make sure that their concept of it is my turn is safeguarded. Just like they try to divide the Nigerian Bar Association by forming their own Northern Bar Association and all that other ethnic coloration for something that should stand for a nation state. However it is, the petroleum people are saying they are going to join, the electricity people are going to join, just on the judiciary said they are going to join. If they stay away, the strike will still have its effect. But the only thing is that the effect might be reduced. If it is only the south-south or southeast that is obeying the call-out, it will have a limited effect on otherwise. But when the last labor leader, who is from Hausa extraction or from Kaduna or whatever, people obeyed him. People didn't ask the color of his ethnic background. Now that it's Ajero, maybe from our place, eastern area, they're now reading coloration that he might be instigated by Labour Party, our brother Peter Obi and all that.
Yes,
but those kind of insinuation, NLC didn't give much support to Labour. The similarity is just in a name. The similarity is it's just in a name.
Well, let's not go there because during when they were having problem of the leadership, I think they came out to say that they own Labour Party. NLC was saying that this is our party, so we'll say who is our chairman. So let's just leave that one and move on.
You see, the issue in Nigeria is whenever there's anything happens, we begin to try to interpret it in various ways. Like he said, giving it ethnic coloration does not solve the problem. What is the problem? There's problem, the main issue, first subsidy. And every Nigerian has stood up saying it is bad to some extent. But that is for those who don't understand it very well. Fine. We are talking about the pains being inflicted on Nigerians.
Every Nigerian.
I want to say something here. If those of them in the West say they are not joining, let them not join. Let them go and buy fuel for 20 naira per liter. If those in the North say they are not joining, let them not join. Because all of us are in the same market. We are facing the same realities. So why wouldn't you join to say, please put up a palliative measure that will cushion the effect of this? I think that's only the issue there. NLC, honestly speaking, is not saying don't remove the subsidy. But they are saying put up something that will cushion the effect first before you remove.
Their major question is how did he arrive at this price?
The former government said subsidy will start in June. But it's unfortunately that Bola Tinubu came up and said fuel subsidy is gone. Fine, there is a mix-up here and there. But whatever way it is, the subsidy is gone. But now let us talk about the cushioning of the effect. That's how we should be talking, and not whether the East will join or the West will join or every Nigerian will join. I have to remember Operation Occupy Nigeria in 2012. You see how successful it was. It was because those who believed they will lead Nigeria, including this present president,
was against it.
Was against it, and he came out and said that subsidy, that there's nothing like subsidy. No, let nobody touch it. And so on, that PDP was this, was that. The revered Nobel laureate, Wole Soyinka, came out too, supported. Who in the West came out, supported, and they all tried to bring Jonathan's government down. Today, it is like a vicious circle.
And everybody is keeping quiet.
What goes around turns around.
So why don't people from this side of the world or from the other side, attack this subsidy again like they did when Jonathan tried
That
to
is where I'm coming from. That is where I'm coming from. Now it is their own that is in charge. They no longer see anything wrong in removing subsidy. That will tell you that Nigeria is not that country all of us are thinking we are.
All right,
Speaking.
gentlemen, let's move on. Let's look at the remaining of the papers. Nigerian Tribune is the next paper. Subsidy removal. TUC makes demands federal government may set up committee to review minimum wage. Is the banner headline there, and I think that's all we are taking from there. To join the next paper, which is Daily Independent. Daily Independent newspaper, exchange rate unification will crash Nigeria's economy. Is that what they said? I thought they said it's going to crash the price of the pump price of the fuel. Okay, only enough FX supply will make unification likely. Analysts are saying this. And then once exports, foreign reserves, importing oil products addressed. Okay, let's get it right. Exchange rates unification, like the one we have seen before, will crash Nigeria's economy. Okay. The next story coming from Daily Independent, no going back on our planned strike for Wednesday. This is coming from NLC, and I think we have talked much about that. Our last paper this morning, Daily Trust, bandit kills 62 in Sokoto, Zamfara villages, and that's the only story that is trending very well there. Okay, let's look at the rider. The rider says communities attacked for refusing to pay levies. Governor Lawal orders deployment of more operatives. Okay, this was exactly the story I was reading this morning, and it really hurts me. And some people were asking questions. Let's look at that, gentlemen, talking about our security. Some people were asking questions. How come a few days into this new government, that what they expected the new government to do was the first thing that is disturbing Nigeria, which is security. That was where they expected the president to make first move and first statement like he did in oil subsidy, which is not even the problem. Okay, and just look at the number of people that were killed in the two states, Zamfara and Sokoto, simply because they refused to pay. And I heard from that story, I read that these people are insurgents from Niger and which other country? Oh, is this Sudan? Okay, this other bordering country. That they come in, collect levy from Nigeria, the giant of Africa, and they go back. Now that these people refuse to pay, they are killing them. And the government is not doing anything much to stop that. Barrister Arokwe.
Yeah, what you know is that the people you call another country are actually not another country. When you talk about Niger and his brothers in the
Niger and Benin and all the countries.
They are really not, they are just the same people. What divides them is a geography. So they see Nigeria as an extension. Some of these people hold a Nigerian passport. Some of these people hold the voting cards of Nigeria, and they vote in Nigeria. So they believe that that part of the country, that part of our country is also an extension of their country, and that they have capacity to exert taxes, exert discipline, and all that, and all that. And our former president said that if you people disturb him, after his retirement, he will cross over to his brothers. That's where big rumor that he built a palatial home.
Was it a rumor?
It's a rumor, but we have seen some buildings. You don't know whether it's true or validated. Okay. The most important thing is that these people do not see Nigeria as its own country, as a different country. They see it just an extension of their own territorial boundary. So they just walk in, do whatever they want to do, because there's a collapse, a total collapse of a system called governance in Nigeria.
All right. Pausing, just 30 minutes, 30 seconds, please, before we leave. So what would you expect the new government to do as concerns security, just in 30 seconds?
It should appoint service chiefs. That's the only thing. Because the former president appointed the current service chiefs. What he should do immediately to recharge our security system is appoint new service chiefs. Let them come, bring new security architecture that will improve what we are already experiencing, because it's not only happening in Sokoto, it's happening in Benue, it's happening in Plateau, and so on. This mass killing, we don't have value for human life any longer. So that's why we need new security chiefs in place as soon as possible.
If I have 1 second, I want to venture something. And you know that this the word that's going around is new security architecture. Everybody is talking about new security architecture, change the service chiefs. It has not worked. The personnel, the problem is not personnel. It has not worked. There must be a paradigm shift. What is more burning is not the subsidy. Our new president should have begun to tackle the issue related to insurgency, herdsmen killing in Kaduna, in Nasarawa, and all those.
Okay.
Have a total nationalist roadmap. It is not about changing one person, bring somebody from your ethnic coloration, change a
But
few.
most importantly,
It will
the
not
political will to tackle
there have to be a new change, a paradigm shift, a total institutional change.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Barrister Chris Arukwe, thank you very much for coming today.
Welcome.
And thank you again, Boston Carlo, Okeke, sorry. I think Boston Carlo is a musician. Thank you, Boston Okeke, public affairs analyst. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers, for joining us.
Okay, thank you, viewers, for joining us this morning. If you enjoy what you saw, remember to join us tomorrow morning for our fresh package. My name is Ijama. God bless you.
Bless you.